Hey guys, how's it going? Welcome back. My name is Shinobi, and this is the second edition of this YouTube series I decided to make called Becoming a Gaming YouTuber. And this is part 2, and this one's going to be about making great videos. Pretty much everything you need to know before actually learning the tricks on getting more views and all that kind of stuff. The last time we talked about just the first steps that you need to take, talking about copyright, what your videos are going to be about, stuff like that, stuff to really just get you going. This one we're going to go kind of to the next step, to the next level, so make sure you watch that last video. It will be in the video description down below, in the video responses, and it will also be an annotation on the screen as well. And if the third part is up, there'll be an annotation on there as well. So remember to hit a thumbs up if you did enjoy this video. Be subscribed because I got a lot more coming for you, and here we go. Now before we get into making your very first video, I think it's important to analyze this thing that I've kind of researched, and that is that there are two types of videos on YouTube. The first type is knowledge, and the second type is entertainment. People, when they search on YouTube, the two reasons why they search is to gain some kind of knowledge. Oh, how do I do this? Oh, here's a guide on how to get 6-minute abs. Oh, here's a guide on how to beat Diablo in Diablo 3. Oh, here's a guide to do this and that, or just anything like that. So yeah, that's definitely the first one. The second one is entertainment, and the reason why that's a little bit more generalized, because with entertainment you can say pretty much any video on YouTube is like an entertaining video, whether it's funny, it's a vlog, it's a news type thing, whatever. The list goes on and on and on. I mean, pretty much the only two reasons that people search on YouTube is knowledge and entertainment. So your first video and all the videos that you make are going to fit under those categories. Now, a successful YouTube channel is going to be able to do both of those. It's going to be able to have some videos that are like how-to videos, some videos that are going to help people learn stuff, and there's going to have other videos where there's going to be entertainment. If you just make videos on just guides, then you're really cutting yourself down. You need to have some entertainment in there that's going to pull more people in. If you do videos that are just entertaining and they don't really teach anybody how to do anything, then it's also going to kind of slow you down as well. So take those into consideration, because that's one thing that I've kind of researched over time, and it's very, very helpful to know both of those and to follow both of those. So now that you actually have some kind of idea on what kind of videos you're going to be doing, it's pretty much up to you. You're like, okay, well, I'm going to play these games. I'm just going to kind of do like, gameplay stuff, do some guides, some entertaining videos, stuff like that. Okay, cool. Now you're doing really good. Now we got to get to making your very first video, and that's going to be, there's a lot more into it than a lot of people know. Obviously there's editing, obviously there's things that a lot of people do know already. But let's talk about the first thing that I do when I go to make a YouTube video, and that is concept/research and design. Now, this takes a lot more work sometimes, and sometimes it takes a lot less. You could just be, out shopping with your girlfriend or something like that, and an idea pops into your head. That's great. I mean, anybody can have an idea, but in order to put that into effect, in order to actually plan it out and write it down, okay, this is what I'm going to do, this is what I'm going to do, how I'm going to do it, and everything like that, that also is a different story. So what I like to do usually is I come up with ideas. Say I'm out somewhere or something like that, because a lot of your ideas are going to hit you when you're not even paying attention to the game, or you may not even be playing the game. You might be just doing something that's non-game related, and the idea will just pop into your head. So have a cell phone with you, or maybe pad of paper if you don't have a cell phone, but I'm sure you'll have a cell phone. Just about anybody does. And you can actually just type in there what your idea is so you don't forget it. When you get home, go on your computer or a piece of paper or something and just start jotting down ideas. Okay, what could I do in this video? And keep jotting down, okay, awesome. And if you have like a full page of information, then you're like, okay, wow, I can really do a lot in this video, and it's not just going to be a waste of time. And then you also want to design the video as well, because there's going to be multiple things. Like in this video here, you're seeing that there's actual, slides where you go slide 1, slide 2, slide 3, slide 4. If you're doing that with like gameplay or something like that, you're like, okay, and the first thing I'm going to talk about is this, and I don't have gameplay footage for that. The second thing I'm going to talk about is this and that. So just kind of map it out, just kind of make like an outline, and just kind of go through and write all that down. And that's how you pretty much come up with concepts and designs. now that you've actually kind of come up with some concepts, designs, and everything like that, we'll get into the next thing, which is actually going to be shooting your video. I talked about last time a couple of things you can use. You can use audio recording like Audacity. You can use Fraps. Check out that last video so you can see all the stuff I talked about there. But as you're shooting this video, you want to keep into consideration that having more footage is not a bad thing, but actually a really good thing. Now, let's say your video is going to be about 5 minutes long, but you have 50 minutes of footage. Well, that's good. That is a really good thing. Because then you can actually go through and you can take the best parts from each part and you can really make your video better, higher quality. Because if you just go, okay, I'm going to do this, and then you shoot that, and you shoot it literally just you playing, for 30 minutes in a row, and it's just all one big take and there's not really any cuts anywhere, it's gonna bore people. You don't want to have like videos where it's just like you're staring at one screen for a very long time. So take that in consideration, because you do a lot of cuts and a lot of takes and everything like that. It's really going to help you out as well. And the next thing also is when you're doing the voice part, the audio part, sometimes writing a script can be really nice, but you don't want to sound like you're reading from a script. So what I like to do is I'll put up on the screen, actually this very second, I'm doing it actually right now, is I put little bullet points on the screen. Now I just talk about like, I put down a generalized title type thing, like talk about this, and then I talk about that, instead of like just sitting here going, and the concept and research and design that you could possibly do. Like, if you say it like that, people are going to get bored because you sound like a robot, and they're going to just be like, this guy's just scripting this out, maybe this is fake, maybe he's not even telling the truth, because it doesn't sound like it's actually coming straight from you. That's one thing that I've kind of prided myself on since I started doing YouTube. When I very first started out in the very beginning, people said, maybe you should write out a script so you're not going, and you're sitting there thinking about what you need to do. Well, the great thing is you can go back while you're editing and cut out all those ums and uhs and ums and stuff like that, where you're actually taking pauses in between your sentences. So don't worry about that. If you're recording an audio, take as much time as you have to talk about what you need to, because when you're editing, you can cut it back in, and you want to sound like it's actually coming straight from you, and it's not some like robotic voice or anything like that. And that's what's really worked for me over the years. I really do enjoy doing it that way, because if you, like I said, if you do it like the robot voice and everything like that, then it's not being very personalized. And when I'm talking to you, it sounds like we're having a conversation together. It sounds like I'm sitting down, you're on the other side of the table, and I'm teaching you how to become a YouTuber. It's a lot more personalized, and people respond to it a lot better than just a robot voice. Now, the next thing I'm going to show you guys is I talked about last time some video recording software, and I talked about also some editing software. Now we're looking at right here is Sony Vegas Pro 11. Now you can purchase this online. Whenever the newest version comes out, they cut the price down of the second newest version down by a lot. So you can literally go online and get, I don't always use the current best one. Right now I think it's up to like 12 or 13 or something like that. But I do use this one, and it actually works really nicely for me. I really do enjoy it. It's a lot better than using like free programs like, Windows Movie Maker and stuff like that. So what I'm going to show you here is some of my settings that I use to try and get the best quality you can get, and also pretty much how it's going to look when you go on YouTube. Now, but first off, looking on the screen, you can see the black screen right here. Now the aspect ratio that it's in is 16:9. That's what YouTube uses. You can see right over here, Project 1920 by 1080. That is a 16:9 ratio. You need to have that, because otherwise you're going to get those black bars on the outsides, like over here and over here, maybe up top you get some black bars. You want to fill the whole screen so it looks really nice, but you don't want to fill it by stretching it, because like stretching it too much, because if you do that, then you're going to have a hard time too, and it's going to look kind of crappy. So you kind of want the videos to look the best quality as you can. So I'm going to show you some of the settings that I've fooled with, and you may fool with it too, and you may come up with some better ideas and stuff like that over time, but these are just some settings that I've kind of come up with. So let's go into, so we're starting a new project. You can set it up by default to go to the same thing. Like when I first came in here, it didn't ask me, do you want these settings? It's already preset. So we go in here, we can see these are all the settings that I have right now. The template, that was my phone. The template that I have is under 1080, so it's 1920 by 1080. If you're going to do YouTube and you're going to have, you know, some kind of recording for this, like I said with the 16 by 9 ratio, well, what ratios are those? Because you're like, I don't see that in my resolution settings when you're recording. So typically, if I can show you on the list here, you can see there's 1920 by 1080, and you want to go to 9.970. And I'm going to show you my Fraps settings in just a second as well, and show you why this 29.970 is important. That's going to be your frame rate right there. So if you scroll up, you can see that there's 720. You can see 1280 by 720. That's another 10 or a 16 by 9 ratio there. Stay away from things like well, 1440 by 1080 is okay. Things that where the ratio is not on that same thing, where it's 720 or 1080, because as you see, if you're looking at this video right now and you look at the little thing down below, the quality of it, if you click on, you know, the little thing to change it to better high quality, you see that it goes up, you know, 360, 480, I think it is, 720, 1080. That's kind of how it goes. So you want to stay on those same ratios and try and get the best one you possibly can. And currently right now the best one for YouTube is 1080. And but yeah, that's pretty much how that goes. So that's the first setting right there. So you want to go HD 1080 60i 1920 by 1080 29.970 FPS. So you can see that the width and the ratio is good there. You can kind of edit this if you want it to, but like I said, do 1080 or 720. Those are the only two you should be doing. And when you're recording, if you record in 1080 or 720, it's going to make it so much easier and look so much nicer. So try and record in either one of those settings. Don't stay away from like 1440 by 900 if that's what your monitor is. Put it down a little bit. You know, make it a little bit smaller, like go to the next level down if you can't get up to 1080. Then right here we have, now I've just kind of messed with these settings a little bit. I don't know exactly what they all do, but I've messed with these settings, and this is just some of the settings that I use. 1 pixel square, output rotation 0. Some of these are kind of default settings, so if you see something isn't working out and you do a little bit of research, just kind of mess with them a little bit. Then we have the stereophonic, scopic 3D mode. Just leave that off. Then we have pixel format, which 8 bits. I'm not sure if you put it up higher what it actually does for the pixel format, but I think that your computer automatically already sets the pixels for you, so I don't think you have to do something like this, because I think this is only if you have really crappy quality and you're trying to make it better or something like that. But I don't think that this is anything you should mess with. I mean, you can try other ones, but this has just worked for me, and you'll see my video footage soon. Then we have the full resolution rendering quality. Set it to the best. Obviously, when you're rendering the video, which I'll talk more about rendering in just a minute, you want to have the best quality. So then we have motion blur. For some reason, I don't know why people use this one, but it works, so I don't mess with it. You know, I've looked up online some tips on how to do this stuff. So there you go. And then you just want to set your settings right here where your video is gonna be. You know, where the folder is, the pre-rendered folder that puts something there for you. It shows you how much room you have in your hard drive, all that stuff. And then you want to click this, start all new products with these settings. And you can save it up here and everything like that. Audio, you want to go to stereo or surround sound 5.1. Let me switch that there because I don't know why that setting was turned off. Okay, so that's good. And then we have ruler. These are just kind of some of the default settings here, so you don't really have to go through. Just kind of look at my settings and kind of just set them up the exact same way if they aren't the same. And that's pretty much everything there. So we're all set. You can see the screen is set perfectly. Now let's look at a couple more things. Now what are you going to have? Let's look at what all this stuff is. Up here you just have all your basic things, properties, saves. I don't really use this. I just kind of go up to file and save, new, import, whatever. Then you have this button right here, which is the video preview button. Now this is going to let you obviously preview your video. It's going to go in full screen. I typically don't like doing that. I like previewing it on this small screen right here. That way it runs more smooth, and you know, I can kind of just look at the bars down here while that's going. And yeah, that's pretty much all of that. Now this isn't a full guide on how to use Sony Vegas, but I'm just showing you some things you may want to know. In here, this is going to show you what is on this bottom bar down here, by which one you're viewing. Video FX is really important. We'll get to that in just a second. As far as the rest of them, I mean, some of them may help you out a little bit, but I don't really go too crazy. I don't try to make it too complicated and add a lot of stuff, because then your rendering time takes a lot longer. You just want to kind of get the best quality you can for the least amount of settings that you can. Then we have project media. This is where all your stuff that you save and bring in. So how do you bring in a file? Well, there's two ways. You can go to File and click Open. Click down here, and then you can right click and go Open. So let me bring a file in here real quick. So we'll go in here and go to my videos. I like to keep all of my saved videos on a second hard drive. I'm going to talk about that in just a second with Fraps. But you can see that I have some old Diablo 3 videos, WoW videos, recorded videos, other videos. So I go into my recorded videos, which is these are all my ones that I got with Fraps. I have them set up automatically to open with DivX. It's up to you if you want to set it any other way. I record in MP4 format. It's just higher quality and it takes less rendering time. So that's going to be something you could do, but we'll talk about rendering in just 1 minute. So let me grab a file here. I'll grab this one, for instance, and just save that there. Now when you click Open, it's going to put it down here for you. And it put it up here as well, and I'm going to put it here. So you can see on the screen. It may look a little fuzzy on the screen. It's because the ratio is very small right now. If you bring it up, the quality just got a lot better. So that's right there. Now let's take a look at what you have here. We have the first one, which is your video quality right here. This is where your video is going to come off of. If you were to click one of these and right click and go, well, I don't want this audio here, so you right click it, right, and you click cut, you just got rid of everything. You don't want to do that. So let me show you how to get around that. There's two ways you can get around it. You can right click it and you can go to, where is it at? This is the one I don't use normally, so because it takes more time. You can click clear and then cut. Yeah, clear and cut, and then I'll get rid of it for you. The other way you can get rid of it is just by taking the audio format here and just deleting the track, and then I'll get rid of it as well. But it will get rid of all your tracks on here. Okay, so we have that, and now let's show you how to do the volume. Let's take a look at what it sounds like right now. Yeah, so kind of loud. If you wanted to bring it down, just grab this bar here, change the volume. Now you can hear it a lot quieter. So just kind of fool with that. If you're doing like a voiceover and you have an audio file on here, let me show you how to do that real quick. So you right click here. If you want to add a video track, it's going to go above. If you're going to add an audio track, it's going to go below. So an audio track right here. So say I imported an audio format right here, then what you would see is another audio format. But if they're both the same volume, then it's going to be too loud. So you need to turn this volume down to, like, I'd say for gameplay footage in the background, it depends on your computer, but a safe area is to go below this this bar right here that you can see, and then it won't sound too bad when you put another recorded sound over top of it. You can also go over here to the decibel area and turn it up manually. So you can see that this one right here, it's 13.4. This is what it sounds like. Okay, but then if you turn this all the way up, now it's louder. So just keep that in mind as well when you're doing that. This is one thing that's going to piss you off, is this little loop bar right here. So sometimes when you hold down left click for too long, this thing's going to pop up and it's going to want to loop this for you. Now if you render and you have this on your screen, it's only going to render what's in this loop filter. So take it and pull it all the way across until it's gone. That's what you have to do, because if you don't do that, your video is not going to be what you want it to be. So that's all of that, which is great. If you want to add anything over top of this, do video, and let's say I want to put like a picture over top of this right here. So I would right click, well, I don't right click there. So you make sure you're selected onto this one, go to open. Let's say I grab a picture from the desktop or something Okay, so let's say we put this YouTube thing right here. So when you add that on there, you can see it's kind of huge, right? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to hit this, which you right clicked it. Well, you click this little button right here. This is going to be your event FX, and the other one's going to be your pan crop. So you can click either one of these, you'll get to the same area. So now you hit your wheel and just kind of scroll out on your mouse. You can keep doing this so you can get more room to work with. If you pull it out this way, it's going to make it smaller. If you pull it in, it's going to make it bigger. So pull it out, smaller, and then you just click and drag it wherever you want it to go. So that's how you put like images over top of your video there. So let me, whoops, go ahead and undo this. So I can delete that out. Also, right here, if you right click and you go to insert text media, this is how you can put actual font over top of something. I would suggest going to download a bunch of fonts for free off of Google. Just go on Google and download a bunch of fonts so you make it like you're not using plain fonts for your videos. So I'm going to change some of these settings and go type hi YouTube or something. Then you can just change the sizes any way you want to. And then you can do the scale over here, which makes it really big, or you can scale it down, something like that. And then the outline I like to do, so you can go down here. Just kind of do something like that. So yeah, you can pretty much change things around. They have some animations over here as well, like this one. Let me see if it works here. So I closed it. Yeah, it should be up there. You can see the generated media thing there. So let's go back here. Yeah, but anyways, that came down. So that's some general ideas on how to do stuff. So after you're done doing your video, I mean, if you want to learn more stuff on editing and cutting and pasting and all that kind of stuff you need to do, I don't want this video to be too long just talking about this in particular. Then you want to go into, you're done your video, obviously you want to save it. So we'll save it to desktop or wherever you want to save it. I'll just save it whatever random name. And then you want to go to render as, go in here. Now if you're doing MP4 format, it's going to make it a little more darker, so you may want to change the color and stuff like that. So I'm going to show you real quick. Now there's a bunch of ways, a bunch of settings you can do here when you're rendering at the end, but using MP4 is what I like to do, and that's one thing that's supported with YouTube. Now down here, this one is called YouTube 1080, because that's the one that I just saved by myself, because there was this one right here, which was Internet HD 1080. I just went into that one and then changed some settings around. So I'll show you what my settings look like. You can go here if you want to go look at the settings, go down to customize template. Now you can see all the settings that I have here. If your graphics card is better than your CPU, then you want to use under your encode mode, you want to set under render GPU if available. If your CPU is better than your graphics card, then you want to go to render using CPU only. So by doing that, you could change how long it takes really to render your video and kind of the quality as well. So just kind of look at all these things that I have set here. Set it on non-progressive scan, then go down to project and go all the way to the end here for your rendering quality here. Go to best, you're all set up, and you just click OK, and you're going to start rendering. Now I'm going to show you what it's going to look like. You can see. Okay, and then you can see there's the video right there. Now if you think that it's too dark or too light in your video, I'm going to show you one thing that I like to do. So I'm going to go to Video FX here, go to Brightness and Contrast. You can take any of these and then just kind of edit them and kind of move them around if you want to, but this is the one that I usually grab. It is darker but more contrast. So I grab this and throw it down. Now you can see what it looks like now. Wow, it looks horrible. You don't want it like that. I have a save setting already right here. I hit that. Now it looks a lot brighter, a lot better. You can actually just change it in here too. So this is your brightness. So if you want to go a lower number, so we go 0.100, then click over here. You can see it changed a little bit. So there we go. And that's how you do it. So if you want all of your video clips to look like that, then drag it on top of this. If you want individual video clips to look differently, then drag them individually on each one when you go to add a video FX. So that's this here. If you guys want me to talk more about Sony Vegas and make like a full guide on Sony Vegas, I could do that in the future. But this has taken up like over half of the video by itself. Let's get into Fraps real quick. I'm going to show you what I do with Fraps. Alright, and now that we are in Fraps and we have it all up, I have the full version here. This is all pretty much everything that I have. This is all the settings I'm going to show you that you can use on Fraps. This part shouldn't take very long. I know this video is getting pretty long, but like I said in the beginning, there's a lot of things I'd like to describe to you guys. So that's a full version of Fraps. You know, go and get it. I don't even think it costs that much to get a full version. You get a trial. Do not use the trial. You're very limited in how long the clips can be for the trial, so just forget it. But these are some of the settings on the front here. So I need to get an updated Fraps. Actually, it's kind of getting a little bit old. But here is the 4 settings right here. We have Start Fraps Minimized. That's something you can do. I like to have it pop up for me so I can just do my own settings when I need to change something. Fraps window is always on top. So, you know, if you have like something else and you click like another folder or something like that, and then Fraps pops up, it'll pop up on top of everything. Run Fraps when Windows restarts. When Windows starts, you can do that if you want to, but I don't like to run anything on startup, just so it's a lot smoother for me to play games and stuff like that. Then you have the monitor desktop right here, or DWM. Now this is what I'm doing this very second. You can see on the bottom right this red icon right here. That means I'm recording right now. Now you can set your own settings on how to record, but we'll do that in just a second. Now turn this off if you're only recording gameplay, because you want it to grab the ratio of the video footage and not everything else on your computer. So turn this off when you're doing gameplay, but if you're doing other things where you need to see the desktop, then do this. Now the next one you have is FPS. I just have where it say where the FPS saves point, the benchmark right here. I'll show you where to save movies and stuff like that in just a second. This is just kind of like the default thing. It'll show a benchmark on the on there, and then anyways, I'm not really sure exactly what that means, but I never use it. Benchmark hotkey disable. You can just set that right there as a hotkey for that. The more important thing is going to be over here is the overlay. I hide overlay if you didn't want to, and I'll show you. You can see there it is up there, so you can kind of see your frame rate. You can kind of see if you're recording without actually looking at your desktop start bar down there. But I wouldn't really suggest that. I just turn it off because then it's going to be in your video. You will see it in your video. So if you don't want to, I mean, 95% of YouTubers don't show that in their video. But yeah. So then we go to movies. Now, recording movies. Now I have 2 hard drives on my computer. They're both 500 gig hard drives. My main hard drive is where I have all my games, where I play my games, the one that I'm on right now. Now, you want to make sure that when you record and you save files, you save it to a secondary hard drive, if you have one. If you don't have one, okay, but that's just a really nice thing you can do, is by saving it to a secondary hard drive, it's actually going to give you more frame rate. It's not going to slow you down or anything like that. So then we also have the sound here as well. Now these are the settings right here. Now if I wanted to record microphone, I click this, the second one, which is your external input, and it will click whatever your default microphone settings are for your computer. I would suggest not using Fraps for recording your microphone sounds because it actually sounds different, like grungier. Use something like Audacity or something like that, like I talked about last video. But these sounds right here, pretty much the way it works is anything that you hear through your headset is what they're going to hear too. So if you're playing a game or something like that, or someone's talking to you on Skype or whatever, they're going to hear that. So any sounds that you hear, they're going to hear. So turn that off if you don't want it on, or keep it on if you do. Remember, when you go back to record, like I'm doing in this video, you can see that I'm going to have, when I do this video, it's going to show an audio for this one, for what people are hearing. So if I make a sound in the computer, people would hear that. Now when you go to edit it, you can actually take that out if you don't want it, or you can make it quieter or something like that. It's definitely important. So anyways, here's all the settings here. This is my video capture hotkey. So if I'm in Diablo 3 and I have Fraps open, all I have to do is hit my number plus symbol. You can set it to whatever you want. Just by clicking, you can set it to whatever you want, and then you can just start recording like that without actually having to go here and go, record, and click a button and stuff like that. It's a hotkey. It makes it so much easier. You want to play at a full size. Full size is going to be important. Half size is going to give you like black bars on the outside and everything like that. Some people do that for certain kind of videos, but don't do it for YouTube videos. Then we have video capture settings. You want to set it to 29.97 at the very bottom. That's that thing we talked about earlier when we were talking about Sony Vegas. Leave all these default. Over here you can hide the mouse if you want to in your video, but I don't see why you would want to hide your mouse. Then secondly, lock frame rate while recording. This is also very good as well. You don't want it to spike too much. You want it to lock to exactly what your settings are for fraps when you're recording anyways. So definitely does help out there because it sets it right to that, so that way it's nice and it has a good median throughout the whole YouTube video that you have. So if you're recording a video, some parts are like, you know, really heavy on your frame rate and some of them are not, then you're going to see some lag in your videos, and you don't want that. When you're playing, you may experience lag, but if you have this set like this, the video is not going to show it. That's why some people say, you know, I said in a video, I was like, yeah, I was lagging really bad, and they're like, no, you weren't. Actually, I was, but you couldn't see it because the video records it externally and it goes straight through, whereas, you know, for me, it's different. It's weird how it works, but it works. Then you have your screenshots. I mean, you can do a screenshot if you want to with this, or you can just hit print screen like the default Windows thing, everything like that. But that's all of that stuff right there, guys, and that's Fraps for you. I hope you did enjoy this video. Remember to hit a thumbs up and be subscribed to me. I got more coming for you. The next video I'm going to talk about how to get a lot of views or how to increase your views and just a bunch of stuff that I've learned over the years. But I hope this video did help you out with explaining individual things. I know this video is like 30 some odd minutes long, but I wanted to explain just a lot of different stuff in here. So, yep, thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.